Day, August 4th, 2026. Sorry, we were very late. We could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Jason, you have an update for us?
Okay, kind of to reiterate the intermediate, based on our walkthrough, many of you saw the progress. In short, the general contractor continues to try to bring that building to completion. We'll work with the general contractor over the next few weeks and the other primes to bring life safety systems online, PA system and security online, with the district, and then work with the township to see if a portion or part of the building could be occupied by the township. So obviously more to follow on the schedule of this building. That's kind of where it stands at this point. As you can see, when you're over there, the masonry contractor has increased their crew size to try to get the masonry completed in the next couple weeks, then get the windows installed and get the exterior of the building done before at least the start of school, so the equipment can be removed before school starts. As far as the bus garage, these are old pictures, probably a week and a half ago, for some of the IS building. So the bus garage, the contractor continues to take advantage of the nice weather. He's currently doing the bulk fill activity for where the bus parking lot will be. He's also started the excavation of the building footprint, where then has to be over excavated and brought up with 2A aggregate stone before foundations commence. DeMarco Construction is looking to start the foundation sometime here in early September. I have a couple dirt shots, really. That pile of rock was part of the excavation of where the building pad sits and some of the road that bends around the building to the parking lot of the bus parking. Just another shot. So that shot's kind of what the fill activity is. That whole lower side in front of the tree line is being brought up with the material to the elevation where the parking lot for the buses would be. This is a picture looking up at Old Oakdale Road. That hole is kind of the part of the beginning of the footprint for the building that needs excavated down to solid rock and then brought up with some 2A fill to the elevation where the foundations will start. The elementary school, similarly, a lot of dirt pictures to see the progress there. The two main things that we needed to get done this summer, or start the summer and get into early fall, was to build the sediment basin number 2 that takes the water runoff for the building pad quadrant. And that sediment basin is generally complete. It's taking rainwater now. The building pad preparation activity has commenced with the removal of the APR material. If you recall, there's acid producing rock. So part of the scope was the major haul out of over 20,000 yards of cubic material that needs removed from the site, and part of that's in the building pad location. This picture that I took is kind of generally standing up where the old bus parking asphalt was, where Steve's office used to be, looking down towards where the missile silos were located. The old barracks building would be on the right outside the picture. So that mound essentially has to be cut down about 20 feet in elevation. Then a portion of that south of that mound gets filled to create your building pad for the new elementary school. This is a picture kind of looking down towards that sediment basin number 2 that I was talking about. I did a little snippet of the drawings kind of to indicate the building layout is on the left in that little snippet. So I'd be standing on the left side of that circle, looking towards the sediment basin that's on the right. That's what this picture is shooting down the hill. This picture is probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks old already. So that's really not exciting picture shots because it's just a lot of dirt work happening, but major activities for each project. The elementary school schedule in the next couple months anticipated, like I said, continual removal of the APR material. The concrete foundation subcontractor is ready to mobilize in early September to start the portion of the building that is just spread footings. The deep foundation subcontractor is ready to mobilize for the caissons. Generally, I think September 10th was a target date. So we'll have 2 subs on site at the same time, starting the foundations for the building. So over the next 4 weeks, the site subcontractor has to cut down the hillside and bring up the southern side of the building pad to be ready for those 2 subs. The long-term scheduled development is still ongoing with Macero and the other primes. He has a baseline built that's out to all the primes that we're going to meet and discuss probably the next week or 2 and really pinpoint the steel delivery date, which is generally in November or December at this point, is what they're targeting to start steel erection for that building. That's really the overall view of the schedule for the 3 projects. Ryan did inform me those change orders were actually approved at the last board meeting. So I really don't have to go through those at this point. If there's any questions related to any of the 3 projects, I can take them now. Yes, Ryan.
I just have 1 or 2 questions. On the bus garage, have they stubbed out the utilities yet down at the bottom of the hill? Do you know?
They are continue the sanitary sewer storm line work. So they started at the far tie-in point, which I guess is the way west part of that site.
Right.
And they're working back towards the building. I'd say they're about halfway.
And what about water, gas?
Water and gas, not yet.
Electric,
Those,
okay.
we actually have a couple meetings tomorrow, one with the electric company to talk about temporary power service to the site. And then the Pennsylvania American Water, we have a meeting with them to talk about bringing their utility to the site as well.
All right. So I have a related question with regard to the elementary school. You mentioned steel erection coming sooner rather than later, but don't they need to hook up the or get the underground utilities in place before they start doing that? And have they moved anywhere toward that?
They will move toward that, but they could start the foundations. The primes will get any sleeves through foundation walls that would be needed to bring the utilities into the building. Underground work for slabs, that'll be part of it as well. I think the goal in the baseline that he built is to try to do underground utilities before the steel shows up and get some slabs poured. But we'll just have to see how the timing works out with that over the next 4 months.
All right. And is there any issue with utility extensions in that location? Everything's there, right?
Not that I'm aware of. There's
Okay.
some long runs to bring power and gas to
Right.
that location.
Right.
So we're starting to talk conversation on when that's gonna happen. It's not just a summer work, so you'll see some utility work through your campus over the life of the project, but we'll coordinate that with Steve and Alan and the group not to impact the daily operations.
Thank you. My last question is to Ryan. I'm looking here on page 3 of the document we have here. This is with regard to the intermediate school renovation. You see that the percentage paid out, the subtotals, am I reading that right? We've paid out 70, almost 78% of the project cost to the contractors.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so as we get closer here, I'm just going to make a suggestion. You keep a very tight view of that
Mhm.
because, well, keep a very, very tight hold on what we're paying out based upon what completion is done.
Yeah, and we've discussed that with Jason as well.
Okay.
As far as, the pay apps go through them first and just kind of have
Understood,
a
but-
conversation. Yep,
But we don't
I'm the
want
end- I'm
to,
the
we don't want
end.
to pay this out before everything's done. So,
I
okay.
definitely, and just to be clear, we are like
I know,
this,
I know, you know that
like cash
that's
flow.
not going to happen, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
Cash flow wise, we are definitely have held back more than we were originally projected.
I was going to ask you that.
We
What's
are-
the withholding?
This probably would have been closer to 90% paid out if they were on schedule.
Okay,
So they have definitely, when you look at our projections, we're significantly
all right, all
ahead
right.
cash flow wise, behind with the project, but ahead on cash flow.
That's the question I was leading to. What's the withholding? Thank you.
Yeah, actually with that, you can kind of see it in that graph that I provide monthly. The green was a projected cash flow that I provided to Ryan at way back when. The red's actual. So you can see the dip where this is the issue of that project to a certain respect. But yeah, so we'll monitor the next couple months, Len, on payments and make sure we're releasing appropriate monies. And retainage is held as well for all the prime contractors until they're completed and punch lists are accepted and closeouts completed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Miller, can you give us an update on a grant?
Certainly. We became aware last week that the Public School Facility Improvement Grant Program temporarily reopened and is currently accepting applications through August 7th, 2026. Projects must have an expected cost of more than $500,000, but they can be up to $5 million. And districts may apply for 75% of a project. Because a new roof will be needed at the high school in the coming years, the administration is recommending that the board authorize submission of a grant application for the South Fayette High School roof restoration project. Our current high school roof is approximately 24 years old and covers approximately 83,500 square feet. A recent engineering assessment found that while the roof remains structurally serviceable, it has exceeded its original warranty period and has experienced age-related deterioration. We are asking the board for consideration that the administration apply for this grant. The cost of the restoration project would be $1.75 million. And we would be looking at a match, which is 25% maximum of $437,000. That would be that the state would then provide us just over $1.3 million to offset local costs. If the board would like administration to apply for this grant, and I apologize, but the window is very narrow. It's this week. I would ask for a motion to be added to tonight's agenda, giving us the authorization to apply and submit this grant. If anybody would be willing to make that motion, I would ask for it to be added to the agenda and then for a vote to occur during construction under the construction component of tonight's agenda.
Dr. Miller, I'll request that the item be added to the agenda under construction. The superintendent and the finance director recommend that the board approve the attached resolution authorizing the South Fayette Township School District of Allegheny County to take necessary steps to apply for a public school facility improvement grant of $1,750,000 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for costs of the roof project at the high school, and to authorize the superintendent to execute necessary documents and agreements to apply to obtain the grant.
Do I have a second to add this motion to the
I
agenda?
second it.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item will be added to the agenda. I have one item on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Rebecca. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now, suspension of business to hear from residents and or taxpayers. The board will hear comments from residents and or taxpayers related to items appearing on today's agenda for action by the board. The board will receive comments from the residents and or taxpayers on topics that do not appear on the agenda for action by the board at the conclusion of the agenda prior to adjournment. This time limit for comments shall not exceed 3 minutes. The board will not respond to questions during this session, but will only hear comments as per policy. Comment on today's agenda? Business office, we have one item. Are there any questions on the business office? No questions or comments? Personnel. Dr. Miller, can you help me with that?
Of course. So we are recommending approval for hiring of the following positions pending receipt of required documents. Jillian Ruda, intermediate school counselor, step 10 at master's level, 64,610, effective date to be determined. Brooke Douglas, first grade permanent substitute teacher, bachelor step 1, 52,500. Food service workers at a rate of $13 per hour for this school year. Deborah Vedas, Betsy Wingerston. Christy Fagan, middle school building substitute at a rate of $150 per day. Caroline Sanford, second grade teacher at bachelor step 2, rate of $53,735. Abigail Lawson, permanent substitute kindergarten teacher, bachelor step 1, rate of $52,500. Alexandra Torres, substitute teacher, call is needed at a rate of $125 per day. Jane Venom, substitute student monitor at a rate of $10 per hour. We also recommend the resignation of the following employees: Margaret Zaney Robson, she's an elementary school student monitor; Elena Seifert, middle school building substitute teacher; and Mary Jo Tricklinger, intermediate school building substitute. In addition, we are asking for approval for district substitutes for the 26-27 school years who have previously been substitutes for nurses, day-to-day teachers, paraeducators, monitors, bus drivers, food service workers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments in personnel? Education, there are 2 items. Are there any questions or comments in education? Transportation, there are no items. Athletics, no items. Construction, Dr. Miller, can you read in the new motion?
Certainly. The superintendent and finance director recommend that the board approve the attached resolution authorizing the South Fayette Township School District of Allegheny County take the necessary steps to apply for a public school facility improvement grant of $1.75 million from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for costs of the roof project at the high school, and to authorize the superintendent to execute the necessary documents and agreements to apply for and obtain this grant.
Go ahead.
I just have one comment. I just wanted to publicly thank Dr. Miller for researching that this grant was available, for putting the time into writing this grant, and to Mr. Neely for gathering materials to assist in preparing for this, which sounds like a pretty sizable savings for the district.
I will share that in conversation, Mr. Volz and I met on Friday, and he was the one who shared that it was available. So
Thank you
I
very much, Mr.
appreciate
Volz.
that, but the kudos is also to Mr. Volz.
Anything else on construction? Miscellaneous, we have a second reading of policy 237 for electronic devices. Any comments, questions on it? Looking for a motion to approve business office item 1.
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Teresa. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel, we have 3 items. I'm looking for a motion to approve items 1 through 3. In personnel,
So moved.
moved by Esther,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Education, 2 items. I have a motion to approve items 1 and 2 in education.
So moved.
Moved by Teresa,
Second.
second by Jason. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Construction, the 1 added item. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Moved by Esther,
Second.
second by Teresa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, we will be hear comments from residents and or taxpayers. The time limit of comment will not exceed 3 minutes. The board will not respond to questions during the session, but will only hear public comment as per policy.
Hi, I'm Danielle Puhatch, 1202 Newberry Highlands. Thanks so much for hearing my comment tonight. I'm here as a community member, a parent, but most importantly, as a pediatric occupational therapist, and I have 26 years experience in helping students succeed across school environments. I'm asking the board to reconsider the current bell-to-bell cell phone restriction, especially for our high school students, and explore a more balanced policy that addresses legitimate concerns about distraction while preserving opportunities for students to develop responsible technology use, independence, and self-management skills. Professionally, I bring a unique perspective to this topic because my work bridges both pediatric developmental practice and higher education. I support students and families within schools, and currently I work at the college level at Duquesne and formerly at Slippery Rock University, where I firsthand witnessed the expectations placed on students as they transition beyond high school. College students are expected to independently manage schedules, assignments, communication, and productivity tools using technology, including their cell phone. They're not entering environments where cell phones are eliminated, but they're entering environments where they're expected to use them responsibly. I also consult with many families in our district whose children do not qualify for IEP or 504 accommodations, and many of these students have needs related to organization, attention, time management, self-regulation, even though they do not meet the criteria for formal accommodations, and their cell phones are meeting these needs. I appreciate the board's efforts to create safe, focused learning environments, and I recognize that unrestricted cell phone use can contribute to distraction and reduced engagement. Those concerns are legitimate, and I support protecting instructional time. However, I respectfully ask that you consider whether a universal bell-to-bell restriction for our high school students is the only solution. Independence is not developed by removing all the supports. It's developed by teaching students how to use appropriate supports effectively. And cell phones and smartwatches can serve as supports for UDL through calendars, reminders, timers, assignment management, communication, and organization. And for some students, this is how they're succeeding and creating their independence in the school environment. We need to recognize that responsible technology use is part of life beyond the classroom. In college careers and adult life, the individuals are expected to manage responsibilities using the digital tools. Students need opportunities to practice self-management and responsible technology use before those expectations increase after graduation. Providing structured and intentional opportunities for appropriate practice supports school life balance and healthy routines needed for adult responsibilities. I respectfully ask that the board consider a phased approach rather than immediate elimination to access of the cell phone. This could include eliminating use during class, but allowing for it during breaks between periods and lunch, and also considering smartwatches or wearable technology for organizational and self-management purposes. And this way we can collect data and feedback and then guide future decisions. As Pennsylvania continues to consider expectations around cell phone use, our district has an opportunity to model a balanced approach that protects learning while preparing students for the realities of college, careers, and adult life. Professionally, I've developed an evidence-informed white paper that I can send to you via email that expands upon these topics, but I look forward to being able to collaborate with board members and administrators to explore maybe a compromise to the policy that meets the needs of the district, protecting our education, but also supporting our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
All right, that's all. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That was you, Rebecca. Second. Esther?